How safe do you really feel in your own home? I'm not talking about the locks on your doors or the alarm system keypad on the wall. I'm talking about a deeper kind of safety. The kind you feel when you can walk from the bedroom to the kitchen in the middle of the night without a flicker of anxiety. The confidence that the very air you're breathing is clean and healthy. For many of us, especially as we get older, our home is our sanctuary, the one place in the world where we should feel completely secure. But what if I told you that familiarity can sometimes be a mask for hidden risks? Here was a fascinating and frankly quite startling study that looked into this very idea. It found that nearly a third of older adults who rated their own homes as very safe were in fact living with 5 or more significant, identifiable hazards. These weren't things they were ignoring. They were things they simply didn't see. It proves a powerful point. The greatest threats to our well-being at home are often not the ones we worry about, but the ones that are completely invisible. Today, we are going beyond the usual advice. We all know about grab bars in the shower and non-slip mats on the floor. Those are important, absolutely. But this conversation is about the next level of safety. We're going to pull back the curtain on 5 specific, invisible dangers that could be compromising the safety and independence of millions of seniors right now. This video is not about vague wellness advice. We're tackling tangible, physical dangers in your home based on solid research from institutions like the Environmental Protection Agency and the National Institute on Aging. And our goal is to give you simple, practical solutions that empower you, not frighten you. Now, I know who might be watching this. There are the concerned sons and daughters, the concerned Carols of the world. You're worried about a parent living alone. You see a risk, but you don't know how to bring it up without sounding critical or starting an argument. Your greatest fear is that call in the middle of the night about a preventable accident. And just as importantly, I know many of you watching are the ones we're talking about, the independent Charles of the world. You've lived in your home for 30, 40, maybe 50 years. You know every creak in the floorboards and the exact spot where the afternoon sun hits the armchair. You value your independence above all else, and you rightfully resent any suggestion that you're suddenly frail or incapable. I want to speak directly to you and say, we respect that. This entire conversation is designed to provide you with tools, not restrictions. These are strategies to help you maintain that cherished independence, to stay in control, and to continue living safely and confidently in the home you love for many, many years to come. And a quick but important reminder, I am not a doctor or a certified safety inspector. This video is for informational purposes, drawing on publicly available research from trusted organizations. The goal is to raise awareness and start important conversations. Please always consult with your doctor or a qualified professional for personalized advice about your health and your home. So we're going to count down the top 5 invisible dangers, starting with one that can literally trip you up without you ever seeing it coming. Let's begin with number 5, poor lighting and unseen glare. Now this sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? Just turn on a light. But the danger here is far more subtle than a dark hallway. As we age, our eyes need about 3 to 4 times more light to see with the same clarity as they did when we were younger. But here's the paradox. Too much light, or the wrong kind of light, can be just as dangerous as too little. Imagine this scenario. It's a bright, sunny afternoon. You walk from the living room into the kitchen. The sunlight is flooding through the window and hitting your polished wood or linoleum floor, creating a patch of blinding glare. For a moment, your eyes can't adjust. You can't see the edge of the rug just beyond that patch of light, or the small puddle of water near the sink. That momentary blindness is a serious trip hazard. It's not about darkness. It's about a lack of contrast. Your brain can't process the visual information fast enough. This problem is made worse by common age-related eye conditions like cataracts, which scatter light and increase sensitivity to glare. This can create a vicious cycle. There's a concept that gerontologists talk about called the fear of falling feedback loop. Research has shown that the fear of falling can itself increase the risk of a fall by up to 60%. Why? Because when you're afraid of falling, you might start walking more tentatively. I remember talking to a friend whose father, a proud veteran named Arthur, insisted on making his home brighter. He went out and bought the highest wattage bulbs he could find and put them in every lamp. His intention was perfect, but what happened was he created these incredibly intense hotspots of light and deep dark shadows in between. So what's the action step here? It's a lighting audit. Walk through your home at different times of day. Where are the dark corners? Where does the sun create that blinding glare? The goal is uniform, non-glare lighting. A red flag to watch for is if you or a loved one starts shuffling their feet or seems hesitant to walk in certain areas of the house. If they seem to be reaching for walls or furniture for support more often, it might not just be a balance issue. It could be a vision and lighting issue. That's the time to not only look at the lighting, but also to schedule a checkup with an eye doctor. From the light we see, let's transition to the air we breathe and our next invisible danger. This one often comes disguised as something pleasant. That brings us to number 4, deceptive household products. We all want a home that feels clean, that smells fresh. It's a sign of a well-kept space. And so, we reach for the air freshener spray, the plug-in scent diffuser, the heavily perfumed laundry detergent. It's a perfectly understandable impulse. We associate these pleasant fragrances with hygiene and safety. But the American Lung Association has been sounding the alarm on this for years. Many of these products, even some marketed as green or natural, release a chemical cocktail into our air known as volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. Think of VOCs as invisible chemical fumes. They are released by thousands of common products, from aerosol sprays and cleaning supplies to paint and new furniture. When you spray an air freshener, that scent isn't just a nice smell. It's a cloud of tiny chemical particles that you are inhaling directly into your lungs. These compounds can cause short-term irritation, like headaches, dizziness, and worsening of asthma or other respiratory conditions. For seniors, whose respiratory systems may already be more vulnerable, this constant low-level chemical exposure can be particularly taxing. I have a family member, a wonderful woman, who absolutely adores those plug-in air fresheners. As an experiment, she went over and unplugged all of the devices. Within a week, her mother's cough had dramatically improved, and she said she felt like a fog had lifted. The action step here is wonderfully simple and costs nothing. Ventilate. Open your windows for even just 15 to 20 minutes a day to exchange that stale indoor air for fresh outdoor air. And it's about making smarter choices. Instead of masking odors, eliminate them. The red flags are subtle but important. If you find that you or a loved one consistently feels better after spending time outside, and symptoms like coughing, sneezing, or headaches return upon coming home, it might be time to investigate your indoor air. Pay attention to whether these symptoms worsen after a cleaning day or after you've used a specific product. Now we move from pollutants we can sometimes smell to invaders that are truly, completely undetectable by our senses. This brings us to danger number 3, the gases you can't see or smell. I'm talking about 2 silent threats, carbon monoxide and radon. Let's start with carbon monoxide, or CO. If there's a malfunction, a crack, or a blockage, that deadly gas can seep silently into your living space. Then there's radon. It can seep into any home through cracks in the foundation, gaps around pipes, or crawl spaces. It doesn't matter if your house is brand new or 100 years old. Any home in any part of the country can have elevated radon levels. There's a common and dangerous myth. I heard a story about a retired couple who both developed lung cancer despite never having smoked a cigarette in their lives. They had been breathing it in for over 30 years without a clue. The action step for both of these threats is non-negotiable and thankfully very straightforward. You must have detectors. For carbon monoxide, you need a detector on every level of your home. For radon, you need to test for it. It is the only way to know if you have a problem. The red flags for carbon monoxide are flu-like symptoms. If multiple people in the house feel sick at the same time and feel better when they leave the house, you should get out into fresh air immediately and call 911. For radon, as I mentioned, there are no immediate red flags. The red flag is not having tested your home. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. The great news is for every single one, there's a simple, empowering solution. If you're finding this guide helpful, I would be so grateful if you took just a second to tap that like button below. Now let's get back to it. This brings us to our number 2, invisible danger. The sound you can't hear. I'm talking about your smoke detector. We do this and we feel prepared. We believe that if a fire were to start while we're sleeping, that piercing shriek would jolt us awake. But what if it didn't? Here's the critical piece of information that most people don't know. The standard smoke alarm emits a very high-frequency sound. The problem is a common condition called presbycusis, which is simply age-related hearing loss. Nearly half of seniors with even mild to moderate hearing impairment may not be awakened by a standard high-frequency smoke alarm. I read a truly chilling account from a fire department. They tested his smoke alarm. It let out that ear-splitting beep. The man didn't even flinch. He just looked at the firefighters and asked, "Well, are you going to test it?" He physically could not hear the sound. The action step here is crucial. We need to rethink the kind of alarms we use. Look for alarms that produce a low-frequency, 520 Hz square wave sound. You can get alarms that are interconnected with a device that flashes a bright strobe light, or a pad that you place under your mattress or pillow that vibrates powerfully to wake you up. The red flag here is any noticeable difficulty hearing high-pitched sounds in daily life. Do you have trouble hearing a bird chirping outside? The beep of a microwave? A grandchild's high-pitched voice? If so, that's a sign that a standard smoke alarm might not be effective for you. From a safety device we rely on but may not hear, we now turn to a daily ritual that is fundamental to our health. Yet, it holds the number 1 spot as the most overlooked and complex invisible danger in the home. And that is danger number 1, mismanaged medications. Now, let's be very clear about this. That very diligence can create a new, hidden complexity that becomes a danger in itself. According to the FDA, adverse drug events are responsible for a staggering number of hospitalizations among older adults every year. And this isn't just about someone forgetting to take a pill. The scenario is all too common. You look at the kitchen counter and there are 5, 6, 7 different orange prescription bottles. The instructions are a maze of complexity. Take 1 in the morning on an empty stomach. Take 2 with your evening meal. Add in any minor confusion, a busy day, or poor eyesight making it hard to read the tiny print, and the risk of an error skyrockets. I want to share a story that an emergency room nurse told me. Helen, was brought in by her daughter because she had become extremely dizzy. The family was terrified. The two new drugs, when taken together, were known to cause severe dizziness. She was being inadvertently and dangerously over-medicated. This story highlights the absolute most critical action step for medication safety: the brown bag review. Put it all in a bag and take it to your pharmacist. The other key action is to simplify the process. Use a weekly pill organizer box. The red flags for medication issues can be almost anything. Be especially alert for any new symptom that appears after a medication is started or its dosage is changed. Dizziness, confusion, excessive sleepiness, loss of appetite, or sudden unsteadiness are all major warning signs. Don't just dismiss it as a bad day or part of getting older. And so there we have it. 5 invisible dangers that go far beyond the obvious. We've brought them out of the shadows and into the light. From the way light itself can play tricks on our eyes, to the very air we breathe, the unheard alarms we trust, and the complex daily ritual of managing our health. Each one of these points represents a massive win for your safety and your autonomy. You've won back a profound level of control over your daily health by making your pharmacist a key member of your safety team. For the concerned Carols watching, I hope this has given you a new framework. For the independent Charleses, my hope is that you see these not as concessions to age, but as strategic upgrades. This is about staying in the driver's seat of your own life. Now, I would love to hear from you. This is how we all learn from each other. Which of these 5 invisible dangers was the biggest surprise or the biggest aha moment for you? Please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments section below. And finally, if you found this deep dive helpful and empowering, and you want more content that respects your intelligence and is dedicated to healthy, independent living, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.